Probably the worst thing that can happen when you're buying a property is you miss out on it from another buyer. It's called gazumping, the most emotional part of buying a property. It does happen. Let's learn about the solution around what you can do to not get gazumped. Stay tuned.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hey.
Mr. Gazumper.
Mr. Gazumping. It's we're addressing a problem in the market this morning. A fear.
We definitely are. We definitely are. It's a massive one out there. So I guess where this comes from is when you're buying a place, and it happens more often. There's either no one on a property or there's 5 people on a property that want to buy the property. Now, when there's 5 people on a property, an agent can accept the offer. The vendor can accept the offer that is in the best interest of them. But then buyer 2, buyer 3, buyer 4 potentially can get a bit freaked out and then start making offers. It even I know when you take something off the table, people even lunge forward even more. And that's when gazumping starts happening. So there are laws that have come into place. The word is gazumping, which we're going to have a quick chat about where the word originated from. And then there's a solution back for the gazumping, so it can prevent or lessen the chances of it happening in the marketplace. We haven't seen gazumping as much. In this market, it's a bit of a softer market, but certainly when the market was firing all cylinders, buyers are freaking out. It can't happen in an auction, but when it's a private treaty sale, a normal sale, it can happen a lot. Tell us more about it, Billy Boy.
Well, I'm going to tell you where it originated from. And let me just make sure it's not missing a comment here. Yeah, Luke's nailed it. It's all about speed. So I actually thought this word was just made up by real estate agents. Like it sounded too funny to be true. But gazumping, I'm going to quote this so I don't get it wrong. The word gazumping is believed to have originated in England in the early 20th century, but its exact origins are a bit of a mystery. There's a couple of theories. One suggests that it's originated from the Yiddish word gazumpf. There you go, which means to cheat or swindle.
Right.
The second is French.
And that's the
word.
feeling that's definitely the feeling the buyer has. That's the one that's missing out, or the second or third buyer that's missing out. Next theory.
Another suggests the word may have originated from the French word jazz up, which means to liven up or make more exciting.
Oh, Jesus. Doesn't sound exciting to me.
The naughty French. A third suggests the word may have originated from a German word, gesamt, which means to collect or gather.
To what?
Collect or gather.
Yeah.
While the exact origins of the word gazumping may be unclear, it's commonly used in English and other parts of the word to describe the practice of accepting a higher offer on the property after a sale has already been agreed upon.
That's technically it, and it happens all day, every day across Australia, New South Wales, the world. So we have put preventions in place and solutions in place. They used to call them anti-gazumping laws when they first came into place. So before you actually didn't need to have a contract. So the contract that a buyer signs, you did not have to have ready. So that always created problems because the deal would be accepted and then the buyer, the seller, the agent were waiting for a contract. Now that was a problem, waiting for a contract, because that could take, if it was a solicitor that's slow, it could take a week, it could take 2 weeks back in the olden days when it was less digital. So during that period, other buyers had the opportunity going, mate, why haven't you sold that property? What's happening with that property? I want to make an offer on the property, and the property's already had an offer accepted. So here comes gazumping. So the first thing they did just as a solution is they've said, before, it is law, and we will take agents' licenses away if this isn't done. It's the agent's responsibility. You do not advertise, market, or promote in any way the property unless you have a full sale contract prepared by the vendor's solicitor. So that's about a 100-page contract, and they say, we want to have that baby ready before you do any form of marketing. That's helped. That was solution number one.
Yeah, I think, and I've never known like a practice without these things in place. But it's interesting to get your insight because you've seen both.
Absolutely. Nah, it was before 30 years ago. I started 30 years ago, and it was mandatory to have the contract prepped.
Oh, there you go. But for example, like your old man, he would have been well into it, into the years, like
definitely
on the beforehand. Yeah, right.
Definitely.
And am I correct in saying commercial real estate, you don't need that contract initially?
Yeah, so commercial is interesting. Really good point. This is residential. They got these anti-gazumping laws in for. With commercial, you do not have to have a contract ready to go to formally promote a property, which is pretty amazing. And there's no cooling off offered, which we're going to double back on in a sec. So tell us about the cooling off period. This is another thing that's been introduced to minimise, shorten, stop gazumping laws.
Yeah, so the cooling off period is a standard clause in a residential contract of sale where it's standard. Once you're signing, unless there's a 66W produced, which is a document that waives the cooling off period, you're into a 5 business day. It kind of freezes time on the vendor side of things where they've got a commitment to the buyer. The buyer's then still got time to finalize their due diligence, get the contract reviewed by professionals if they want to.
So I guess before anti-gazumping laws came along, people were getting gypped. And they were going, you know what, I don't want to put down the 10% deposit and buy the property until I've done my finance, until I've done my building inspection, until I've done my strata inspection. And the agent was saying, bad luck, buy it or someone else may. So this little 5-day cooling off was technically a very, very clever introduction into the New South Wales legislation. They automatically whacked in to every contract, no matter what, residential, a 5-day cooling off period. Yeah. So it cannot be struck out. It can be overridden with a 66W, which means no cooling off necessary. I've explained everything to my client, comes from the buyer's solicitor. But technically every contract in New South Wales for resi has a 5-day period built into it now. And again, if it's an auction will also override an automatic 5-day cooling off period.
Yeah, but what's interesting is we've seen buyers factoring in their own cooling off before the cooling off. So they're saying to us as agents, we want to review the contracts, we want to send it off to our solicitor, we want to download the building and pest, we want to do our strata reports. Before we sign on a cooling off period. And you're trying to explain to these guys, like, that's okay, but please understand that's what the cooling off period is there for. It also leaves you sort of open to any other competition. So in the buyer's interest, especially in a hot market or where you've got a couple of groups coming through, if you can see it's a busy open home and you know there's interest there, it might be in your best interest to get it signed on a cooling off period and take out that competition.
And the stakes are higher. Like if a buyer gets blown up from another buyer, i.e. something their offer has been accepted, family, husband, wife, kids are over the moon. They go, we got it, we bought the place, we've got an offer accepted. And next thing you know, they get told by the real estate agent that the property's sold to someone else after they've heard that. That's really screwing people. Now, it does. I guess it's, how can I say? There is a little bit of collateral damage there, and from an agent's perspective, we can have a property on the market for 7 weeks. This is the weirdest thing I find. It's on the market for 7 weeks, low offers.
Yeah.
An owner turns around and says, well, okay, well, and then a good offer comes along. And you're like, wow. Okay, I'll use an example. 700 grand. Everyone's been offering 600 grand. One person after 7 weeks, after 70 people through, offers 700 grand. And the owner goes, that's the price I wanted. I'll accept it. Now, this is the strangest thing. Right at that period, there's another 3 people offering 700 grand. And you go to yourself, how the hell did that happen that you can go all that campaign, no 700 grand, in the final hour when there's, everyone just comes out of the woodwork, and that's where that gazumping, it's just the weirdest thing. And I do hand on my heart, I have to say, the pitch hasn't changed from me as a real estate agent marketing the property. It's just this weirdest thing with timing. It's like everyone starts to become interested right at that last minute.
It's like the sharks that can smell blood, and they all come in.
Yep.
It is strange. Yeah. And I have to say this, delivering the news that someone's being gazumped is honestly the worst. It's the worst news that from an agent I think you can deliver to a buyer. As you said, it's like putting a harpoon in the heart. It's not nice, especially once you're kind of right at the final. It's like you're at the finishing line. But I think the big takeaway from today is there's preventions around it, how you can minimize it. That's the big thing. Maybe not get rid of it, but you can minimize it.
You can minimize it. And I think, look, today we learned about gazumping. We learned about where the word came from. We've learned about what we can do to prevent it. That whole journey of gazumping from when, from the early 20th century to where we are today with it in the last 20, 30 years, getting a contract ready, that's super important. I think in finishing off and in conclusion with buyers, exactly back to what you said, Billy, use that 5-day cooling off. If you can get it, take it. If you can extend it from 5 days to 10 days, ask for it. And the reason why is it's just going to take all that steam out. Now, you will lose 0.25% of the deposit, not 10%. You will lose 0.25%. So if it's $1 million, you'll lose $2,500 if you enter into a 5-day cooling off and then pull out. So I think there had to be some sort of skin in the game, and it was done as a percentile, and they agreed that that was enough hurt money to not stuff around a vendor and to not stuff around a buyer and to engage into a contract. So there is a rescission fee, but if you proceed, that 0.5 will form part of your 10% deposit anyway. So you're not going to lose that if you buy the property.
So well said. Hope this helps this morning, guys. And my final question, going back to that commercial real estate, do you still see gazumping more so that those measures are not in place? Or
with commercial real estate, I think it's deemed that these guys are they're not green. They've done the purchase before. They're not really first home buyers ever. So I think it hasn't been called out for in the industry for commercial. It's probably been enjoyed by the sellers, enjoyed by the purchasers and the agents. There haven't been broken hearts like with residential. Funny that. I reckon. Yeah.
Great episode.
Hey, Billy, what happened to your head?
So I got a bit excited on the weekend. I was a bit thirsty, so I grabbed a beer, popped the cap, and it shot me right in the forehead. And that is like 2 little teeth marks from the beer cap. It's lucky it didn't go like a bit further down to the eyes.
But if anyone doesn't know, we had our Christmas party on the weekend, and it was the Novak Christmas party, which we actually hold in March, 3 months after, because everyone's real busy through Christmas. And where's the family shot? We got the family shot.
I've got it here. Yeah. awesome weekend.
Here's some family snaps. Look at that. How honest is that?
I love it. I've got an even better one for you. But the entire squad. Oh, not the entire squad, but the entire squad that was there.
Captain Milosh was there. Oh, there you go.
My legs look really long there.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. About 20 of us went out of the team of 40, and it was great. And get out to goal. But and we're part of that accident yesterday. Not part of it. We were in the Hume Highway. We were caught up in it. So unfortunately, it was a double tragedy. But feel terrible for the little family. So best wishes to everyone out there. Who was impacted by that. But we had to come back at 9 o'clock in the morning, and the 3-hour trip took a 9-hour trip. So interesting. Those truckies are characters, though. Talking to them standing on the side of the highway.
I think you could be a truckie in another life, Mark.
What a job. Those guys were legends. They were legends.
Yeah, great.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a great day.
See you later.
Thanks, Billy. Bye.